Get ready for another video in Alex's garage. Yep, I polished it. I polished my radiator. Y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but let me show you how I got there. First off, it was really dirty, and so I started cleaning it, and made a clean spot. And once I made a shiny spot, I had to keep going. I wouldn't stop. So anyway, that's what we're going over in this video: how I refurbished this old radiator. And ended up with this. So let's get back to the beginning, and I'll show you where we started. All right, so seeing all the scaling in the inside, I'm going to go ahead and just throw some vinegar in there, and we're going to let it soak and see if we can reduce some of that scale. All right, instruction, right? Here we go. All right, let's get some vinegar in there. All right. Boy, it didn't even take a whole gallon. So we'll let that soak overnight, and see if we'll take another after shot with the endoscope and see if that improves that scaling. All right, after a quick soak, we had the vinegar in there for actually a couple of days, and you can see all the corrosion that was on there is now exposed, some bare copper. We're going to put a coat of paint on this. I think I'm going to give it a good scrunchie one more time, and we'll coat that up. Let's take a look at what it looks like on the inside. All right, so all cleaned up. I got, there was a couple of the fins that were kind of bent, and I flattened those back out straight. But scrubbing down all this old crud, I made a shiny spot. This top is, the top cap on this radiator is solid brass, or copper, whichever. I think I'm going to polish it. Got a little dent right here. I'm going to take a little hammer and see if I can bend that dent back out. Heck, you know, if I'm going to keep the old radiator, I might as well take advantage. And you know, if you have an aluminum one, you'd probably polish it, make it shiny. So I'm going to go ahead and, this is the top side. I'm just going to, this top cap, I'm going to polish this black, or so it's shiny, and then we'll spray it down with a coat of clear coat. These end caps that are ferrous, these are regular steel. Everything else that's steel will be painted black, and then the bottom cap, I'm going to paint that black, so I won't be able to maintain it. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and polish the top of this. This is what it will look like from the front. It'll have, but that will be shiny brass. So I think that's going to be a great little addition. We'll see how that comes out. Let's get that dent banged out, and then run some sandpaper on there and see what it looks like. And I'll check back in as we progress. All right, so just a quick scrubbing with a scratch pad gets you to here. I'm gonna go ahead and get a light sandpaper and take it to the next level. Start with like a, I don't know, a 300 or so. This is the front of the radiator. You can see I'm starting to make a little more progress. I'm working 600 now. This front edge, when they make these caps, they press them down through a form. So it starts off as a flat piece of metal, and then they squeeze it. It goes through a form, and the process of pushing through that form will make these vertical lines on the pressed material. So we're going to sand all these vertical lines off so that you won't see that anymore, and this will be just flat brass. The other thing is this ferrous material that makes up the frame is welded to the brass with some solder. So you'll see as we start to do this, there'll be some places where you'll be able to see the solder. I think we're just going to, combination of painting and polishing, we're not going to mess with that. I don't want to remove any of the solder, but you know, it's just for aesthetics. So if we have to paint a little bit onto here to make this square piece, I'm not going to polish the ferrous material. I'm going to paint that black. So we'll probably have a little black section here that will cover up some of that silver as well. But just kind of wanted to drop in and let you see this is what it looked like before I remove all those vertical lines, so you'll be able to appreciate that there's no vertical lines on there. There's some on the back too. All right, so I got a majority of the vertical stripes down off of this one. I got to start working on the back side. I get a little bit of them removed over here. There's still a little bit. We'll tighten that up a little. This section over here has to all be done by hand. It's all kind of intermixed with you know, the fittings. That's a piece of rubber. This little fitting is rubber. I don't want to get any sand in or on that. And we're not going to polish this pipe. I'm going to end up painting that. So, but this area around here, it's not really going to be that visible from the front, but I'm just going to go ahead and, for attention to detail, we're going to do some of this by hand. So right now, this is still kind of rough. We're gonna progress from a 600 to 1,000 to 2,000, and then take it to the jeweler's rouge and get this like a glass mirror finish. I think that'll look really good, nice and shiny up there in the front of the engine. When you lift the lid, it'll be a good wow factor when you first open it up. So let's go ahead and move through the grits and then get into polish. I'll cut back in as we make progress. All right, so this little section right here has a little divot in the solder connection between the brass and the metal. I don't intend to melt any of this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the silver solder. It's for plumbing, and I'm going to melt this. I'm going to put a little bit of flux in the hole and see if I can melt some of the silver solder just to fill that in. It's not structural. It's not going to change the integrity of the weld here. I just want to fill that in so I don't have a hole there. It's just going to drive me nuts to look at that. After I've spent all this time polishing, there's always going to be this hole. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in with some solder. I'm going to use my just an electric soldering iron rather than using a torch. I really don't want to get this all hot. I just want to fill that hole a little bit. So let's see how that comes out. All right, so there you go. I did end up using having used my map torch. There's no way that you can see. Here's my map torch. Map gas is it's hotter than propane, and it's easier to control the temperature because you're not running it at full heat. You can dial it down. Anyway, so you can see I got a nice little fillet in here. I filled in that little hole. The whole thing here has been sanded with 600. If you were going for a satin finish, that would be done. We're going to take it up to 1,000 and then onto the buff. So we'll check back in when we get to that next level. All right, quick once over with 1,000 grit. Well, it's feeling really, really smooth. You can start to see reflective qualities, and you can almost see, at a glancing view, you can see things on the other side of the room. So we're getting there. Now I'm going to take it up to 2,000, and then we'll break back in. All right, so here we are at 2,000. You can definitely see things across the room, and the reflection is very shiny. 2,000 is pretty good. I mean, I suppose you could stop there, but we're going to take it to the next level and get this thing shining like glass. Once we're done, to keep it in that mode, we're going to spray it with some clear coat. The radiator is really only intended to get as hot as the fluid, and you don't ever want the fluid to get over a couple hundred degrees, so I don't think that you have to worry about using high temp paint on this. So we don't have to worry about that. We can get a good clear on there, and it will preserve that shine for a good long time. All right, for this next section, I'm going to go ahead and record it, and we'll speed it up as we go. But let me give you a quick little explanation of what we're doing here. So there are two different types of rouge. Actually, only one's rouge. This is the red jeweler's polish, and this is the white. The red jeweler's polish is made from iron oxide. It's basically rust. Fine pieces of iron oxide in there, and it will get this down to a glass finish. The white is aluminum oxide. It's a bit more coarse, and it will run. It'll take down more metal. So we're going to use the white first, and then we're going to go to the red as a finish. In order to do that, you need to have two discs. So one of these discs, this is going to be the one that we use for the red, and the one that we have for white, I'm going to go ahead and set on here, and we'll use that for the white. For these really detailed sections where the larger wheel won't get into those holes, I'm going to use the Dremel. The Dremel has the same kind of thing. I have two discs like this, and we'll just get in there with the real detailed stuff and clean that out with the Dremel. And we'll do the same thing with the white first, and then with the red. It's going to get a little loud because this tool is pneumatic, and after a little while the compressor is going to kick on, so eventually we'll turn the sound off and maybe put some music on, I don't know. But you'll be able to see this thing as it comes to a really, really good shine, and we'll record it up real nice so you guys can see how that works out. All right, let's get started. Loading up the... There we go, you can see it's loading it up. All right, so that's a quick once over with the white polish using the pneumatic polisher. That is really shiny, and I think it's going to look really good when we get to that to the gold. It's going to be even better. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run the Dremel with the white aluminum oxide polish, and we're going to get into all these little cracks and crevices and just do the detail work. Real quick note on the Dremel. I mean, Dremels are kind of a household thing. Everybody has a Dremel. This little attachment with the pencil at the end is a great improvement. I mean, this is a great tool, but it's kind of unruly, and you know, this makes it a lot more for doing detail work and whatnot. It makes it a lot more utilitarian. So if you're looking for a neat attachment for your Dremel, I really recommend getting one of these pencil attachments. They really are worth the money. So let's go ahead and get started with this Dremel. Okay, that'll do it for the white. Let's move on to the gold and finish this baby off. Alright, so I got a brand new clean wheel on here, cloth wheel, and we're gonna start with the red on here, and we'll get this will be the finished coat. And a little red rouge. I'll load that up a little. There we go. Nice red tinge to it. Boy, call me crazy, but I think that the red wheel was a step down from the white wheel. I'm going to go back to the white wheel and finish this off. I got these at Harbor Freight, and they don't really say which one's more coarse. It's just typically the red ones are finer. So I'm going to go back to the white one again and give it another, just one more once over with the white, and then we'll be done. All right, so there you go, finished product. Very happy with the way this looks. Again, we're going to put a coat of clear on it to protect it so I don't have to keep polishing it because, you know, brass tarnishes. And you can see it looks pretty good all the way around. So yeah, so we're going to throw a coat of clear on top and then come back and mask it and paint all the rest of these brackets and whatnot black. So we'll have a really good finished product at the end. So there you go. Let's go ahead and paint that, and then we'll finish up this project. So there you have it, the finished deal. I got a very light coat of spray in the grills. I mean, extremely light. Everything's all polished up. I've got a clean, clear coat over the top. All the metal pieces have been painted so they can remain preserved. I didn't put paint on the parts where the fixtures are. I just didn't want that to become an issue that would flake away or cause any kind of issues. But I think it came out okay. Really scaled up, nasty old radiator is better than it ever was. So if you like these videos, make sure you subscribe, comment. If you have any comments at all on radiators or cooling systems, or any history that you've had with these old radiators, please share that. I'm sure everybody would love to hear about it. Next coming up videos, I don't know if it's going to be the next video, but coming up videos, I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to install this radiator, and I'm going to install the water pump, thermostat, and all the pipes and hoses that go to the heater and back down here to where the radiator goes. So we'll go over the entire cooling system install on this 1977 MGB. So make sure you subscribe so you're notified when we do that video.